In this lecture snippet, I want to examine the object ID attribute of our MFT record with the file name findme with spaces that we've been working with in the previous videos. You'll also notice that it's going to be prefixed or begin with the hexadecimal value 40, and I often refer to this as the 40 attribute. Now if we look at a file that we have here, we can see as we go through that I've actually covered already in previous videos the header information, which I have highlighted. We've looked at the 10 attribute or the standard information attribute. We've also looked at the file name information, and we had these two attributes here. The first one with the short file name, and I'm going to scroll down. The second one here had the long file name. Now when the second one ends, if there's one or two, whenever those attributes end, we're going to follow usually with the 40 attribute or this object ID attribute. It's not always going to be present in every file, but in this case I do have it present here. And so I'm going to focus in on this attribute itself. You'll notice over here that I have a few offsets. At offset 4 and 5 relative to this attribute itself, so I'm going to start here at the 40, and I'm going to come over to here 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You'll notice that I get the value 28 and 00, which is in little endian format. So what I will need to do is convert that over to hexadecimal 28, and then convert that over to the decimal value of 40. So that's going to tell me that the size of this attribute is going to be 40 bytes long. And if I highlight that here, you'll see it's actually going to be what I have highlighted on the hexadecimal area. So that is the overall length of this attribute itself. Now I want to also point out that at offset 1.4, and so it's going to be 20 spaces over in decimal. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. That will tell me where the GUID is, which is known as the globally unique identifier. Now I kind of think of this as the primary key information of the particular record itself, because this is unique for this particular file. Any other file that's out there that has a similar file name will have a different GUID, and so this value is unique to this particular file itself. And so you can see that this will indicate where that GUID will start. It's going to indicate that it's going to start at offset 1.8 relative to the attribute. So I've got the 1.8, that is going to be the hexadecimal value of 1.8, so I'm going to go to offset 1.8. And I've already converted 1.8 over to 24 in decimal, so we know that it's 24 spots over from the very beginning. And since it actually is going to be listed under the offset 1.4, I can just count over 1.5, 6, 7, and 8. And so here's where it begins the information for the global unique identifier. And so I've got that highlighted information there. And that'll end, in this case it will end my object ID attribute. Now there may be additional information, but listed in this file, this is the only ID value that I have for this particular attribute itself. So this concludes the object ID attribute within a master file table record.